What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are having yourselves a great weekend so far. We are back to talk about episode 2 of Spider-Noir. As you know, if you did not see the first episode review, I am just going to be going through these just episode by episode. Uh, Primarily, I think it just works better for me to talk about it for the most part, and it's been busy. Haven't had a whole lot of time to binge watch this show to the fullest to where I can just do one single video. So that's why we're doing it like individual episodes. But overall, from what I've seen from people online, um, a lot of people seem to like this series, honestly. So in episode 2, we pick up and we learn some new things about certain people. Now, we obviously know at the end of episode 1, Cat Hardy visits Ben Riley and hires him to find Flint. Flint has gone missing. Um, we Riley goes to his apartment, searches around, and he finds a photo of when Marco was fighting in the First World War in the Argonne Forest in France. Now we do get some information that Ben Riley also fought in World War One as well, and then we also learn that Addison himself was in this same unit as Flint Marco. Now there is a third person that's in it. I don't think he's name dropped at all. That we do see a little bit later in the episode, but it looks like for the most part you have like a large, I guess maybe whether platoon or company size. I want to maybe say like at least a company size or a platoon size of men. Could all these men have some kind of powers whatsoever? Maybe. Don't know. We do know Flint has powers. We do know Addison has powers. And it definitely seems like this third individual who Robbie ran into when he went to visit where Addison and his wife was living is potentially he also has powers as well, but we just don't know what it is. I don't want to. I'm curious on who he would be, but but that's when Winston Carmine, not Carmine, Silvermane's second in command or whatever title you want to give him, shows up at the apartment, starts looking around for him. Ben has to hide in the closet. He left his hat though. Webs his hat and it webs the inside of the closet shut. And then Winston and his associate they leave, and now some more information we get is where Cat sings the alcove is owned by Silvermane. Not only that, Flint was an enforcer for Silvermane as well. So probably Flint was put in place by I want to say Carmine for some. I keep thinking of Falcone from Batman, but Silvermane probably put Marco at this location to keep an eye on Cat to protect the investment, for a lack of a better sense. Um, but he seems like he is having problems. It looks like it's as if he is not able to fully turn himself back into a human. There's like he has like sand particles that are just like splotched across his face. So something seems to be going on with him. We do learn between Marco and this other individual that you know their time is almost up, and this also plays into Addison as well. Um, because when Robbie goes to Addison's home, he runs into this individual, and he talks about how Addison was sick. And while he's talking, Robbie's looking around. There's like burn marks all over in certain parts of the room. There's a chair that looks like that's been caught on fire, a wooden pillar that's been caught on fire. But the guy says Addison was sick. So there's something. See, so potentially, what I think is whatever caused them to get these powers, whether it's Addison, Marco, or even a third individual. Now I believe we do know Electro is also supposed to be in this series as well. Um, Whatever experiment that happened to them is probably killing them too. Um, so it's gonna be interesting to like learn more about that as well. Um, I love the little banter between Kat and Ben. I think Lee Ju Lee and Nicolas Cage have pretty good banter back and forth. You could definitely tell in the later episode or that obviously they're using a stump double for when Ben finally puts back on the suit. Um, because it's just again it's his age, and I talked about it in the first episode. He's like what 70 plus, so his age is definitely up there, to say the least. Um, you have Janet goes to like a I guess police no well yeah, I guess it would be considered a police department to find information on Marco, and that's where they learn you know crime, crime. It's just like they have his whole record, and then learning that Silvermane, he worked for Silvermane. Meanwhile, you have Silvermane kind of being caught, not cautious, but Winston tells, because there's this whole thing going down at the docks with the Canadians. Now that involves, now this is during the Depression. There was like prohibition as well going on. And so you have these Canadians are shipping in alcohol and things like that. Silvermane wants to go himself down there, put on a face to show that like, nobody's going to intimidate him or scare him or anything like that. Now Winston on the other hand is like, listen, you don't pay me to, you know, what how did he word it? Like, you pay me to do my job, basically. There's some things I'm good at, there's some things I'm not good at, and one of the things is keeping you alive. If I wanted to like take you out, I would have done so 10 years ago. Um, and so you do have him go down there. He does check out the docks. He sees everything's in order, and he does call him to come down to the docks. Meanwhile, you also have two of the thugs, because they two thugs try to originally kidnap Riley earlier in the episode and take him to Silvermane, but he is able to escape. They show up at the office and basically point a gun at Janet, talking about how they'll be back and everything like that. Um, and so it also comes clear here as well that she knows that Ben was a spider. So we know that Robbie knows. We know Janet knows. Probably assume as well, obviously, that uh, Ruby knew as well. And Janet talks about how like talk about how she cares about him, but not enough to die for him. She It's been 5 years. You know, I'm hoping for the man that is buried deep inside to come back. And the same thing's kind of with Robbie as well, when him and Ben are watching the mayor run for re-election and everything like that, and um, talk about like his time as being the spider, and even earlier in the episode, Silvermane mentions as well like how with the spider's been gone. Um, Maybe some people have gotten complacent and things like that with how things are, and they're trying to take me out and stuff like that. So because Ben is warning Robbie about what happened with him getting taken by Silvermane's men, and he also learns that, or he also like mentions to Robbie that Addison was dead. Or not Addison was dead, but Donegal was killed. So, because Robbie seems to be trying to get his old job back, and so he's hoping this Addison store that he's working on is going to be big enough to get him back his old position. Um, so he's like, if I don't publish, I don't eat. And we see like he opens like a little fridge. It was actually a pretty cool design. He opens like a little fridge, and all he has is like some milk and ketchup, and he makes like a ugh. And, like it made me like shrug, like just shake. He made like a ketchup like sandwich. He had like a single piece of bread, and he just poured ketchup on it. I was like, ugh, that is not appetizing to me whatsoever. Um, and so, so Robbie goes to this hotel where the big individual that he ran into at Addison's home talks about how Addison's wife, whenever she would come into money, that's where she would go to this specific hotel. But when she run out of money, she's back here, and that that tend to happen very quickly. So Robbie goes, and we kind of get our first, you know, first thing of I don't want to just use the term racism, but basically Robbie goes to this hotel, and he there's a whites only sign. He goes around back. This this bellhop, this black bellhop, kind of tells him how to get in and everything. And he goes up to Mrs. Addison's room, and it's like, I'm Robbie, I'm a reporter, I'm here to talk about Addison. And she's talking about like how how's it gonna look with a black man trying to barge into a white woman's room and everything like that. And Robbie counters and says, how's it gonna look if Silvermane finds out that your husband was hired to kill him while you're also getting like all this money for like lobster and designer clothing? How's that gonna look? And so she invites him in, and they start talking. Now I don't think she knows who. She probably no. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to remember. I don't think she knows who hired him. But she kind of already knew that he was dead. Um, but he started setting fires and stuff like that about 6 months ago. Um, so that is where that ends. Meanwhile, you have Ben after the incident with Janet leaving. Um, he goes to his old hotel room, not hotel room, but apartment, and he cons his way into the apartment as like a maintenance guy, breaks this couple's wall to retrieve his suitcase that has his spider suit in it. I feel bad for the guy because the guy's like, oh, I don't think that guy was a plumber, and the wife's just kind of like, and he's just like shaking her head and and things like that. Um, so towards the end of the episode, you have it to where Silvermane is on his way to the docks to meet the Canadians to um go over like everything, make sure everything's good, make sure everything's in place and stuff like that. When the two goons that tried to kidnap Ben earlier, um, one of them kind of like is peeking behind Silvermane, and he starts seeing something coming. He's like, "What is that?" And it's Ben dressed as a spider. He's coming in. Um, he does. You could probably say he is maybe a little rusty, but he takes out Silvermane's goons, and he basically has a one-on-one sit down with Silvermane, talking about leave Ben Riley alone. Um, I owe him or I owe him a favor and things like that. If you mess with anybody uh, that is associated with Ben Riley, he basically threatens to kill him. And Silvermane's just talking about like how, you know, who hired you, and Ben replies, "No one hires me." Um, and Silvermane's like, "Well, back in the day, you used to never leave me alone." And so um, Ben gives the threat, leaves, heads back to his office, getting ready to pour a drink. The phone rings. It's Robbie, and it sounds like there was a sting operation in place to capture Silvermane. Like it was all in place and everything, but somebody kept Silvermane from showing up because while Robbie's like talking and everything, like there's like a gunfight going on behind Robbie and everything. And so now Robbie, says that now the cops don't know who it was, so they don't think it was you or anything like that, or the spider. But they had everything all set up. Somebody snitched to the cops of what was going on at the docks. So somebody there knows, or somebody within Silvermane's organization snitch to the cops. I, I don't know. I mean, you could probably say it's Winston. That would probably be the obvious choice. Well, there's two choices. It's either Winston, or I guess now think about it more than likely, it's probably going to be Cat. I could probably see that being the more likely case, um, potentially. So we'll see, we'll see. But overall, yeah, episode two is still really good. I watched episode two. So episode one, I watched in the black and white format. Episode two, I watched in the color format just to judge and see how I feel about each one. And I think it's still relatively good either way. Um, probably will go. I'll probably just go back and forth. I don't know, and just watch one in noir, the other in color. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about it. But other than that, guys, that is it for um episode two review of Spider-Noir. If you are new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure you comment below. I'm going to go see the back rooms later today or tonight, and I'll have a review for that up on tomorrow as well, on Sunday for you guys as well. There's a new Nerd Talk podcast coming out as well, and then obviously you can find me on the Shawnee D Main Gaming channel, Kick, Twitch, Rumble, the Nerd Talk podcast on Spotify. All that you can find down in the description below. But guys, thank you for hanging out. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a good one.